Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Antec 1100 case. The box has Antec's typical color theme, yellow and black. Looks quite nice. Lots of pictures of the product on the box, as well as plenty of features and specifications, which is important if you are picking this up in store. If you're buying it online, well, it's not a big deal. Fairly typical case packaging material, but not really. Quality styrofoam, cardboard, very nice, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. They have protective plastic on the very large window on the outside as well as on the inside. Now this is a mid-tower case. It comes in a black color and it's comprised mainly of steel but also plastic. Now take a second to look at this. I think it looks outstanding. It has all this mesh at the front. These little ventilated slots on either side of the front panel. It's not too simple and it's not too overdone. I think it's perfect. At the top they include a humongous 200mm exhaust fan, and here's the power button and reset button. At the front top are two USB 3 ports, two USB 2 ports, the audio jacks, microphone and headphone, and two teeny tiny LEDs for power and hard drive activity, one on the right side and another on the left. Mesh, and more mesh is fine by me because not only does it look fantastic, it also serves a purpose. Ventilation, and there's lots of it. They include three 5¼ drive bays. The front panel is in one piece, and to remove it, just pull at the bottom. On the inside of this front panel, the three 5¼ drive bay covers are blocked with foam. This is to redirect the intake of air down at the bottom. This is one massive removable dust filter which can be taken out of the case, cleaned, and put back. Now, unfortunately, they did not include any fans at the front of this case, but you can install your own two optional 120mm fans. Now, some of you might be wondering, why didn't Antec include at least one front 120mm intake fan? Well, that's a good question. I think they could have included at least one for those folks who don't really want to go out and purchase another fan or really can't afford to do that. However, a lot of people who buy this type of case will probably remove the fan or fans from the case and install their own preferred brand. So possibly this is why Antec didn't install any fans here at the front. And there are other places on the case as well to install optional fans. On the left side panel, there's a very large window, which is excellent, because not only can you admire what you have inside the case, others can see what's in there as well. They also include a place to install two optional 120mm fans, and note the anti-vibration grommets. Also on the left side of the case is where you remove the power supply's dust filter. Also note how this window is flush mounted, so it's level with the left side panel. A very nice touch. The right side panel has this humongous punch out. This is excellent because it gives you that much more space behind the motherboard tray, and you can install an optional 120mm fan. At the back of the case, they include a 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include ventilated expansion slots, extra ventilation, also two rubber grommeted holes for water cooling tubes and or cables to pass through. At the bottom is where a standard ATX power supply gets installed, and they include 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. Now the top 200 millimeter fan has blue LEDs, which you can either turn off or on. The switch for that is at the back top. Inside the case, there was this box, and in it, there is a product overview. And by the way, if you want to download the complete manual for this, just go to antec.com/manuals. They include lots of plastic cable ties, other screws, motherboard standoffs, and drive rail mounts. There's lots of space to work on the inside, but unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable, although they do include a very, very large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, and this is an enormous time saver. They also have rubber grommeted holes here and large ones to route cables behind the motherboard tray. They also have lots of punch outs on the motherboard tray to attach those cables, and there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. I believe it's 36 millimeters of space. Now I know some of you out there will probably want to see the back end of the motherboard tray, and it is pretty darn sexy. Again, you have lots of rubber grommeted large cable management holes, as well as plenty of punch outs. So you can organize cables back here to your heart's content. There's a toolless design for installing drives in the 5¼ inch drive bays. You can install up to 6 3½ inch drives, and they also have 2 dedicated 2½ inch drives at the very top. Now, installation of the 5¼ inch drives is toolless using the included drive rails. You just put one on either side of the drive and then slide it in. Another 2 optional 120 millimeter fans can be installed here. All of the expansion slots have thumb screws, so this will make it very easy to install or remove cards. This case fits extra large ATX, standard ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX form factor motherboards. It also fits video cards that are extremely long, up to 330 millimeters in length, and coolers that are 170 millimeters in height. Now there's a fan connector printed circuit board at the back where you can install up to 4 3-pin fans. At the bottom, there are 4 plastic feet. To recap, they include one 200 millimeter blue LED exhaust fan at the top. They include another exhaust fan at the back, but this one is a 120 millimeter fan. Now you can install another 6 optional 120 millimeter fans in this case. 2 at the front, 2 on the side, and another 2 inside the case. I would recommend installing at least one 120 millimeter fan though as soon as you get this case to have at least one fan that's intaking cool air. Now, have a listen to the stock cooling. This is one outstanding mid-tower case. If you're in the market for a case that needs to both have looks, functionality, and a ton of excellent features, this is it. This case is definitely a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.